We are in the midst of an altcoin supercycle. I know it doesn't seem like it on days like this, but guys, this cycle is going to be bigger than any cycle we've ever seen. But it's also going to be more volatile. Accumulating Bitcoin is the name of the game here. Doesn't matter how much money you make on the way up. It doesn't matter how many X's you have. The only thing that matters is how many Bitcoin or how much Bitcoin is in your bags at the end of the super cycle. Nothing else matters. So today is all about accumulation. We're going to talk about accumulating Bitcoin in the super cycle. I'm Crypto Man Ran, and I'm on vacation. But on a day like this, how can I leave you guys alone? How can I not be here for you on a day like this? And that is exactly why I'm here. I'm with you guys through thick and thin. I told my family to go out and get some waffles. I'm going to do another show with you guys, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to trade this altcoin super cycle. I know it doesn't feel like an altcoin super cycle. I know. I woke up this morning, I opened coin maps, I saw this, and I thought, hey, what happened to alt season that everyone's talking about? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be seeing exactly where we are in the cycle. And I have a guest that's coming on who actually shows us mathematically on the charts exactly where we are in this super cycle. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Crypto Man Run. I come to you every day at 10 a.m. EST. I bring you crypto love and crypto wisdom, and I'm building the most beautiful community in the world, the most profitable community in the world. Got to thank all you guys for all the fan mail we've been getting. We went through some fan mail earlier today. All the love that you're giving Sheldon and I really does give us the drive to keep going forward. If you're new and you haven't been here before, well, welcome, and hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that share, and do it very, very, very quickly. And I'll tell you why. Because this is the channel that's running the Banter Bags giveaway. What is the Banter Bags giveaway? Well, simple. It is the biggest giveaway in crypto history. What we have done is we took $10,000. It started off as like a bit of a joke. We took $10,000 and we invested it into pre-market sales. And we said, what we do is give these bags to the community, because the community was complaining that they weren't getting into these pre-market allocations. Fast forward 2 weeks later, this thing becomes the biggest giveaway in crypto history, because these new altcoins that we've been investing in, well, they've been 100xing and 200xing. So what do you need to do? If you want to win the Banter Bags, it's so simple. All you do, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you share, you get 2 entries. Follow us on Twitter, comment, follow me, Crypto Man Run, follow at Crypto Banter, follow at Sheldon Sniper. And all those things actually give you entries into the Banter Bags. When we get to 250,000 subscribers, we get an auditing firm. They are going to pick 3 winners at random. So it's at random. And then we're going to give away the Banter Bags to the community. This giveaway, if things carry on like they are today, this giveaway will be worth $3 or $4 million by the time that's done. And that, I'm not going to say it's the biggest giveaway in the world, but certainly is going to be the biggest crypto giveaway in the world. So, yes, this is the easiest thing that you have to do. Hit the like. That's all you have to do. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when we're coming on, and you can win the Banter Bags. So, guys, big show today. Look at this. Look at the sea of red. Are we worried? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm not really worried. I mean, there's a whole lot of great news happening in the market. For one, Coinbase is listing next week. Do you think that Coinbase is going to list into a bad market? I mean, is it possible that Coinbase will list into a bad market? Look at this tweet from BTC Jack Sparrow. He says, imagine Coinbase listing directly at 114 million shares onto the NASDAQ without an avalanche of bullish news related to Bitcoin and crypto in general. Guys, this is our big debut. This is like the first crypto company to go to get listed on the NASDAQ. So this is not going to be a small thing, that I can tell you. And I mean, just look at the Coinbase numbers. Look at that revenue. Look at that income. I mean, those numbers are huge. And I couldn't think of a bigger or better a crypto listing. They're talking about, they're listing on $100 billion market cap. But let's look at what FTX is projecting. Now, remember that FTX was very accurate in what they were projecting when they projected the Airbnb listing. And FTX, Fred, just call up that slide again. Let's look at what FTX is projecting. FTX is projecting $117 billion market cap. How does that compare? Let's see where crypto is in the big scheme of things. Well, look at the market caps of ICE, which is the company that owns NASDAQ. Combine it with the market cap of NASDAQ, and then you get the market cap of Coinbase. So what the market's telling you is the market's saying we are extremely, extremely, extremely bullish on crypto. You're looking at a market cap which is bigger than the CBOE, which is the Chicago Board of Exchange, and the CME combined. So take the biggest futures exchanges combined, and that's when you get Coinbase's market cap. Guys, this is a big, big, big event. This is like our crypto listing debut, and it should be super, super, super good for Bitcoin. I can't see investors running away from this. And it's going to give Wall Street an excuse to be talking more about Bitcoin, an excuse to have Bitcoin and crypto more on CNBC. And so I think net, very, very, very positive news that Coinbase is listing next week. And that should bring with it a flurry of positive news. The other positive news that we saw yesterday is coti, one of our favorite tokens. If you guys have been watching the show, you know this. You know that coti is one of our favorite gems. And what I like about this is that if we look at who it is that actually tweeted, it's Charles himself. Now, how often have you seen Charles tweeting about anything to do with the Cardano ecosystem? He's quite conservative in how he shares his tweets, but not in this case. In this case, you can see that Charles has gone all in, and he's basically said, look, it's not a big investment. I mean, look at the numbers here. They invested $500,000. I mean, we've made bigger investments into ICOs or into new listings, but it shows that there is something happening between coti and Cardano, which is two of our favorite gems. Coti, we know that coti is building ADA Pay. We know that. We also know that Charles went to Israel and spent a lot of time with Shachaf, who is the founder of coti. So probably lots more good news going to come out of that, because coti didn't need the investment. So if coti raised money from Cardano, what was that money raised for? Is this a new project? Is this something that's going to bring them both more users? So that is what we need to look at, what we need to look for in terms of the clues. So massive good news in the market. Love the Coinbase news. Love the coti news. Love the coti news. The other big news, and I'm going to say this with great humility, is the XRP news. Because everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of XRP, and I think that's another topic for another show. But on this show, we will always bring you credible, moderated news on every token, if we think it deserves the coverage. And in this case, let's look at what's happening with XRP. So yesterday was a massive victory for Brad Garlinghouse. I don't know if you guys saw Brad Garlinghouse's tweet, but he tweeted yesterday. He said, yesterday was a good day. Today was a good day, he said. And basically what happened was, you saw the end product there in that slide or in that meme, where effectively the judge ruled that the SEC does have to produce documentation which shows anything to do with their thinking as to why Bitcoin and Ethereum are securities. And that was a tactic that Ripple's lawyers played, where they said to the SEC, you keep asking us for information. No, hold on a second. We have the right in terms of US law. We want your information. You're telling us that Ethereum is not a security and Bitcoin is not a security. We want to see every single one of your notes that shows your thinking. What does this mean? It doesn't mean that every single mail from every single person in the SEC about whether XRP or Bitcoin are security needs to be divulged. But any formal communication, anything that went out formally at the SEC or went out, people talking to their mates, that's not what they're looking for. But this is a process of discovery. And now Ripple is going to get access to a lot of SEC documentation. Now, there was a call yesterday. It was the court case was actually conducted via a call. And the call only allowed for 500 people on the call. And that call was full yesterday. So Ripple are actually scoring a lot of punches against the SEC, which is amazing. Why is it so amazing? Because the US government, all these US government bodies, have this attitude of bullying people. Once the US government has you in their sights, so once the SEC or any of these government bodies have you in their lockjaws, then they don't let you go usually. And typically they bully people to surrender. What Ripple is doing is Ripple is doing this to the SEC and saying, you know what? We are going to fight you, and we're going to fight you every single step of the way. And they keep winning. If this was a boxing match and we were talking about jabs and punches being landed, right now, the SEC has only landed one punch, and that is by issuing the actual summons. But the rest of the punches have gone well within XRP's way, which is a massive, massive win for the crypto community. So think about what's happened up until now. Well, for one, the judge has said that I'm not ruling right now that this is a security or not a security, which really was a punch against the SEC. The judge also allowed XRP holders to join the case, which was another punch against the SEC. And then yesterday, the judge ordered that A, they're not ruling right now, right here and then about a security, and B, that that Ripple may have access to all the SEC documentation. So another blow. What happened? What happened with that? Well, let's look at what actually happened. I think this is important. It's super important that we understand why the market is doing what the market is doing. And to understand that, we need to understand exactly what happened yesterday, because we were in the midst of an explosive bull market, so to speak. And then Bitcoin started going down, and Ethereum started going down. And if you looked at the alts yesterday, your alts started to go down. What happened? Well, the answer is very simple. If you look at the number 5 token, which in this case is XRP, XRP yesterday doubled in value. So it went from a market cap of 21 billion to a market cap of, say, 45 or 50 billion dollars. Where did that money come from? Well, it came from the crypto ecosystem. It didn't come from new money flowing in. There's no way that new money could have flowed in so quickly. So what happened was the money flowed in from the existing crypto ecosystem. People listened to this court case. People speculated as to what the outcome may be. And through the speculation, they said, hold on. If Ripple starts landing more and more of these punches, they may actually eventually knock the SEC out. And if they do, well, I want to buy some XRP. I want to be holding XRP. Well, what do? I don't have US dollars. I can't get US dollars in quickly enough. I know what I'll do. I'll start selling off some of my other coins. And if I start selling off some of my other coins, well, what am I going to start selling off? Well, the most obvious one to sell off is Bitcoin. Let me sell some Bitcoin, because every Bitcoin buys me $60,000. And that means $60,000 that I can invest in XRP. And then they started to dump their smaller ones, their smaller altcoins, their shitcoins, and say, hold on, let me take this money and play the cycle. What is the cycle? The cycle is a cycle where we are moving into the major altcoins. Sheldon and I discussed this in Sheldon's stream the other day. We're moving into major altcoins right now. And XRP may actually be a good bet. I'm not going to comment as to whether I think there's value in it. I haven't done enough research. I haven't been on top of that token for a long period of time. What I can tell you, though, is that if you listen to what's going on between the XRP, between Ripple, the XRP, and the SEC, we are now getting to a point where that Ripple are scoring way too many punches around this. And I hate to say this, or I love to say this. Actually, I really love to say this. But I think that Ripple may actually knock the SEC out. I think when the SEC came after Ripple, I think they were counting on a massive settlement. I think they were counting on Ripple crawling up and dying and I don't know, burning their coins and whatever else. So I think that Ripple may actually knock out the SEC. And if they do, that's a massive victory for crypto. Regardless of my views on Ripple, regardless of your views on Ripple and on XRP, it is a massive win for crypto. It shows the SEC and it shows Ripple and it shows the whole community that you can actually take on the SEC and win, and that you don't have to be bullied by the US government. So we will keep looking at what's going on the market there. We'll keep following the case for you. We'll keep dialing into the calls as and when we can. If the calls don't get full, like the call yesterday got full, there were only 500. And ultimately, what I wanted you guys to understand how it is that in the midst of an altcoin supercycle, we were getting these corrections. We were getting money flowing out of altcoins and creating these red seas that, like I showed you in the beginning of the show. So yes, we are in the altcoin supercycle. Well, how do I know that? Because you know when I brought you the sniper? Well, the sniper has reinforcements. The sniper has like a second sniper. So if you think of Sheldon as like one rifleman, we've got another guy behind him with a bazooka, serious guy. And his name is Rudo. And I spoke to Rudo this morning and I said to him, Rudo, should I be panicking here about anything? Rudo said, don't worry, got it all under control. So I want to bring Rudo into the show. But before that, I want to check how we are doing on the likes. There are 4,000 of you watching this live stream right here. And there are 1,900 likes, which means that effectively 2,000 of you don't want to win the Banter bags. Amazes me how people don't want free money. Rudo, what do you think? Do you think it's crazy that people don't want free money, chance to win
billions? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense, guys. Smash that button, please.
Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Rudo, I'm going to share these charts. I've never seen charts as complicated as this, but tell me what I'm looking at and why I'm looking at it.
Right. Well, it's actually quite simple. And, you know, we all have this phenomenal answer and a question. And you just actually said it earlier in the webinar or in this YouTube. You said, what is Bitcoin going to do next and why are we going down? You know, and what I try and do is just apply a little bit of common sense to it. And the emotional market cycle does just this. Now, you've all seen the psychology of the market, the Wall Street cheat sheet. You see this little image there, and you've probably shared this with your subscribers over the course of.
I've never seen it before. What is that? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, this is.
I think everybody in crypto has seen that. I think everybody in crypto has seen that.
That's true. Now, the reason this is probably the only little bit of free. Let's say free tips that's going to be out there that's going to actually help you guys. And what the Wall Street cheat sheet does is actually just lays out the emotional cycle that we go through as traders on a daily basis and as investors for that matter. So now what I've done and what I've got on the screen here for you guys, I've got prepared here for you, is just a little breakdown of Bitcoin from just before the first halving, which was in November 2012, all the way to where we are today. And by applying these emotions, we can easily get an idea of where we are and how we should be acting. Should we be getting out of the market or should we be holding strong? And you said something really significant a little bit earlier. You said about, you know, we're in this super cycle, but for some reason, it doesn't feel that way. And that is because we're in the optimism cycle. Now, what does that mean for you, Ran? We are in the optimism cycle. Maybe you can comment on that.
So tell me, I'm dying to hear what the optimism cycle actually means. I mean, I know we're optimistic as a crypto bunch of people. I'll tell you how I know that, because whenever I go on Twitter, everyone's saying we're nowhere near the end of the bull market. This is the altcoin super cycle. It kind of feels like we're all high on drugs, to be honest. Like we're all high on this crypto drug. That's what it feels like. No one is, in my mind, being cautious or realistic. And that's really what I want to talk about later today. I'm very keen to hear what you think of that.
Well, the thing about the optimism cycle is just that, you know, people are getting high, but are you comfortable taking out a second mortgage on your house and putting it in Bitcoin at this moment? No. And for Joe Public, Rand, that is exactly that. So that brings us to optimism, because when we're in this optimistic state, you know, you've got that tingling sensation that big things are going to happen in this market, but you're not believing it in such stage that you're willing to go max out your credit card to go buy Bitcoin and take out that second mortgage. But we are getting right to that point where that belief is going to start kicking in. But there's a few things that we first need to go through and first need to look at. So this is what this chart's on about, guys. So let's work through this optimism. So I'm going to just take you through a little bit of background, if you allow me there, Rand. So when we look at the halvings, so if you look at the first halving, Rand, you've got your first one in November, the second one in July 2016, and then obviously the one we had now in May of last year. And when we start mapping out these halvings on the whole Bitcoin price chart that we have over here, and if you guys are worried about why mine's looking different, I've purely just switched it over to the line tool. Now, let's work on the candles for now. So if we look at these halvings, what we now all know is after a halving, we've got a significant uprise in Bitcoin price. Then after that, we get the creation of the all-time high. And from that point onwards, we've got a little bit of a consolidation. And that is where fortunes are normally lost. People giving up. I remember that beautiful photo of you after the 2017 high that you posted the other day. That was some sad stuff, guys. So exactly just that. You know, when we have these all-time highs, Rand, what's going to happen is we're going to go through some turmoil, and that doesn't just play out on this macro scale that we see. It plays out on small little events as well, and on smaller time frame candles. Now, with this being said, if we go back again to 2013, and we now look at these all-time high levels, and we look at the lows, because the lows are significant. As an investor, your idea, Rand, would be to try and get in on the lows, if I'm not mistaken there.
Yeah, of course.
So now, where's the low? And that's the hard part. That's where technical analysis comes in, because that's how we start determining the lows. And I want to use a tool that everybody should be familiar with, and it's the Fib tool. But there's one thing that people tend to miss around the Fibonacci tool. It is a tool that basically, the Fibonacci sequence of numbers encapsulates the whole creation of the universe, from the solar system to the smallest formation of a leaf, and from the facial ratio within our faces and so forth. So it is safe to assume that that same ratio will be prevalent in our emotions as well. So if you start applying Fib lines, what is it that we're looking for? We're looking for those apex areas where emotions start running out, i.e. fear, i.e. greed, all those emotions. And then as a trader or as an investor, we want to capitalize. That's where we either want to get out or get in. Now, with these Fibonacci tools, if we start applying this, and we're going to try and look for a trend today, I'm just going to use a simple Fib retracement tool. And what I've done is I've already set this Fib retracement just to show the necessary one line that I want to be looking at. And that's the 1618 Fib extension. And that is the golden ratio value. So now what happens here? So if I take my Fib, simple Fib, and I place it on the previous all-time high. Now, sadly, my chart doesn't have any of the previous detail, but I've gone back onto the archives and I've drawn out the line of what the previous all-time high was in 2011. There was a little Zuma moment there with my 2011. And if we look at that and you start applying it, so I'm putting it at the top, putting it at the bottom, you can see that once price breaks through the previous all-time high, we're in the emotional stage of hope, going on to optimism, and that when price breaks through, it comes back and tests the 1618. Okay. And if we now start applying this trend to our next cycle, then it starts becoming, you always have to have fun with these things. So Rand, I'm going to just lie it in there, and then let's see what happens with that 1618 once we start going through again. So now that's the 2017 all-time high. That's the low of, the 2013. I'm still further back in time there. But look at what happens there, and I'm just going to zoom in there. You can see that once we go past the previous all-time high, price goes and tests the 1618. Simple. Now let's go and have a look at the 2017 cycle. So now I've got the 2017 cycle open, and I'm going to use that same tool. Going to take the top to the bottom, nothing too complicated. And lo and behold, as you can see, once we drive through the 27 all-time high, I don't know, Rand, how many people do you know of that called that Bitcoin first needs to come and test that $19,000 level?
Yeah, I think they were. It was
the hype. And we didn't look for that 2019 test. We actually just knew that it was going to go up because of this. Because we've got this trend showing us that for the last 10 years, when we break this all-time high, it does not go back ever again.
So are you saying that now there's a certain level that Bitcoin will never go back to ever again?
Yes. Well, and that's if the trend holds. No, obviously that's if the trend holds. So let's look at it. So if we go back to 2013 and we just look at what happened over there. Once we broke the 1618, you can see that price, the anger of the next all-time high, that area where everybody gave up on Bitcoin, lined up with the optimism, roughly the top of the optimism wave. Now this one printed a little bit differently than the rest, but we never went back to that level. So you would, after that test, the $48 Bitcoin would never be seen again. And then the same is going to happen for the 2013 run. So once we crossed that $1,800 Bitcoin and we had our wave of euphoria, that would have never been seen again. You can see how anger on the all-time high went and tested the optimism range.
Yes.
And that's
Okay.
it.
So
$3,000 Bitcoin.
the same point that we were optimistic becomes the same point that we get angry, kind of thing.
That is correct.
That same level, the same. So what you're saying is the optimism in the previous cycle equals the anger of the next cycle. So it's almost like when you wish someone on their birthday, when you say, may the best of this year be your worst for the next year. That's exactly what you're kind of saying here.
That is that. The market steps up. The bulls always, Jason, a friend of mine, always says, the bulls climb the ladder or they step it up, but the bears jump out of the window. Now, that's just how it works. You always have these steps. And that is purely because the large players and the general investment public at that stage will not sell for any price lower than that. And that is the line that we can use to gauge how this technology, because you need to think about Bitcoin as this disruptive technology, how it's growing and developing through the years. And therefore that adoption, in the same way that we adopted smartphones, Bitcoin is being adopted. Therefore, it literally cannot go down to that value ever again.
Guys, I see a lot of you are complaining that the writing is too small on YouTube. What we'll do is we'll tweet these charts for you guys after the show, so that you guys can have your own charts after the show. We can even tweet you a trading view link so that you can actually see this. So yeah, we'll do that. Also, Rudo, if you can, when you can, at certain times, zoom in for us so we can have a look. Rudo, what does this mean going forward? So where are we in the cycle? What can we expect? Because I guess history is history. I'm glad that it all lines up in history. Tell me what it means for me going forward.
Okay, so going forward, let's quickly look at it. Now, we are basically now sitting in this optimism. We're creating the optimism wave. So what I want to do now is, you can see we had our price discovery impulse past the previous all-time high. We tested the 1618. And now we have got this optimism wave forming. Now what we need to do is actually look at this, and we need to compare it to what happened with the previous cycle. Because remember, the premise of what we're doing now is saying that although the market never ever repeats itself, Rand, it always rhymes. And if we can just get our ears tuned in with that sequence of events that's playing out, at that stage, we know now, we know where support is, we know where resistance levels are, we can trade it. But if we've got that big picture of where everybody's feeling and how everybody's going to be reacting, we've got a better idea of knowing how to act and how the market's going to react once a certain event happens in the chart.
So what happens next?
So now let's have a look. So I'm going to just compare this. So please, on the left-hand side, I'm going to zoom back. And I'm going to zoom back to the 2017, the optimism wave that led to the 2017 all-time high. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that. And what I will do is just quickly, I just want to switch on my GON. Now, don't get...
shit, I'm seeing where this is going. I'm seeing where this is going. I'm seeing where this is going. Oh, my goodness.
Now, GON basically, guys, says it's a straight line through space and time. Now, what does that mean? I don't really know. It's really significant, but the just is that the trend in theory, the memory of what we felt and how we reacted on price in future is going to play out on certain levels again. And by applying our GON and applying the way that we look at that, we will then be able to guide and gauge where we and what we need to do, where we need to take profit in the future. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So what I'm going to do on the left-hand side, remember now the left-hand side is 2016 leading on to the 2017 high. And what I've got, I'm just going to zoom in at the all-time high when we crossed and we created the optimism. So we moved from hope all the way to optimism.
Okay.
I'm just going to do that.
Okay.
And I just want to switch off logarithmic. I just want to get the prints nice and easy and clear. So I'm going to do that.
Rudo, I must say, you're on for way longer than I expected, but sure, this is amazing. So I'm going to keep you on for as long as you need. Please take your time. I'm sure that you guys in the comments agree. If you don't, let us know.
Okay, then I can calm down because there's so much I want to share with you guys.
No. I don't mind if we cut some of the other guys. We do have one or two other guests, but this is the one. I mean, okay, show me what we're looking at.
Right now, so when we look at the optimism wave and we look at how the formation happens, what we do is when we look at closing prices, that's what the line tool does. Because the closing price, Rand, is when you get to an agreement. Hey, that's the line and no more. I'm happy with this. And when a price normally closes, and you'll hear Sheldon say this a lot of times, when we break a trend, the candle needs to close outside that trend for the confirmation of that. So when we want to try and look at this and we want to try and get a feel of how this works, we need to consider the closing prices, and that's what these lines are set to actually just show me on the day what did Bitcoin close at. Now, when we look at these levels, it's easy now to see how the price then gets stepped. Now, I'm going to just use this as an example. You can see how these steps get formed.
Yes.
Now, price does run within that range, breaks out, goes back in that range, breaks out, and so forth. Now, I want to now apply that same steps over here. Now, remember, go back to what I said. The market never repeats itself, but it always rhymes. So now let's look for the rhyme. So in the same way, there's the 2017 all-time high, and there's the top of the first optimism wave. There's normally two of them. Now, when we look at that, you can see how the market is doing just that. It closed, that line there, let's just delete that little one there. So let's get back there. So it closed, it worked within a range, broke out, worked within a range. And at this stage, we're either going to be doing one or the other. Now, I'll dive into that a little bit clearer now, but I just wanted to show this. So now you guys can see how the market is stepping. And it's easy now to use these closing lines to look for where support and resistance are. Because in theory now, that is what support and resistance is. It's the agreement. It's that handshake between me and you and Sheldon saying that I will not sell my Bitcoin for lower than $56,000. And that's it. No, don't care what's going to happen. And that's why the price will normally wick back into that range. And that's true support or true resistance, depending how we look at it. So now with this being said, Ran, and we look at this, what happened in 2016 on our way to 2017? When you want to see these big gains, look at that. Look at how unrealistic that looks. Now, when you want to see these big gains, they normally first need loss to occur in the market. People need to first get out so that the smart money can take your money. And then the supply gets absorbed by them. And that's how the price then easily gets driven back. Because then you sit on the side, and who has not done that? You know, sold, and then as you sell, the market turns on you. And then you feel like, no, it's going to go down. Otherwise, why would I have sold? And then at some stage, when it goes past your previous high, then you say, oh, well, reluctantly, you buy back in. And that's how the price then moves to its next level. So it's all an emotional game, guys. It's me against you, against Sheldon. We're all trading against each other.
Rudo, one of my friends is messaging me. He says, keep this guy talking. I'm having an orgasm. All right. So, that's funny. All right, so let's go.
Crisis moment there going. So
let's carry on, because one of my guests also has a hard stopper, and I need to get him on.
Okay, right. So let's speed this up quickly. Now, when we look at this and we look at the way that these emotions play out, we are currently in the same progression. Now, I just want to point out a few levels. We went to the 38.2. We got rejected at the 1618. Now, the same happened in 2019. This one's fib is not in, but I've proven it already for you guys. So what happened is we went to the 38.2. We touched it a little bit later. Remember, it's the rhyme. It's not the repeat. And we tested the 1618. And at this stage, we're currently consolidating. But I want to show you the magic of gone and space and time. You see this yellow line here to the left-hand side, which is the axis of what is happening. If I move that line, you see how it moves on the right-hand side?
Yes.
Crazy stuff, guys. This is magic in a way. This is the power of your joint emotions playing out on the market. That is how we can capitalize on this. So if we can understand this, we can keep on pulling out these gains on a consistent basis. Now, with this being said, if we look at this, we have not had a big shakeout down to the 38.2 like we had in the past, but we did have two prior shakeouts, which we didn't have in 2016. So that's why I say at the moment we are making a lower low. So Bitcoin is giving us signs that it wants to go down. How far down? I don't know. If I look at support, maybe the $55,000 level, we'll have to play it as it unfolds. But the reality is, if that bounce happens in the sequence of the events, and remember, you have to trade with a mindset that you don't know what's going to happen next. It's all an exploration. So if that bounce happens and we get that exploration, look at what's going to happen for us going forward. So I'm going to just scrunch this down, and then I'm going to scrunch this one down, and I'm going to line up the all-time highs, the previous all-time highs on both events. And I just want to bring them into context. And look at where my yellow line is drawn. And Rand, can you maybe quote that amount there that I've got marked there for Bitcoin?
It's too small for me, but what is it? I can't see it.
$219,000 by as early as probable the end mid-May. Now, that is if the run continues as it's doing at this current trend. Now, a lot can happen. Weather, climate cycles, what we normally say, weather cycles, political news and so forth playing out. All these things can have an impact and delay this. But the reality is that's why we still need to trade. That's why we can't use this as our Bible and say just this and nothing else. But with all this evidence and what we now know, look at what is possible.
Rudo, holy crap. So, wow. And then, so what I mean is wow, and then wow, and then wow, basically. So, basically, wow.
Thanks, buddy.
Wow. So this is amazing. Rudo, thank you, my friend. We need to get you on more often. So every time that you have a wisdom like this, you know my phone number, give me a call. We will also post these charts for you guys. Guys, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and tell us in the comments if you want Rudo back. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. My friends are having orgasms, apparently. So let's get Rudo back sometime. If you guys tell me that you guys want him back. Rudo, thank you, my friend.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rand.
Trade well, my friend. Woo! Sure. That's Rudo, and that's what he's saying. Guys, remember the aim of the game here is accumulation. And we can see that even the most positive people are saying to us, this cycle isn't going to last forever. Now, I don't want to have debates about when the cycle will end. Maybe I'm more conservative than other people. And, tomorrow we're going to have Elio. Elio is one of the biggest, smartest guys in the world. Really one of the smartest crypto guys in the world. Tomorrow he's coming on the show, and we're going to talk about how to beat this altcoin supercycle. And for me, when I say beat the altcoin supercycle, what I actually mean is I mean one thing, and that is walking away with more Bitcoin than anything else. And if you want to walk away with more Bitcoin than anything else, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you is to be more conservative. Because if you trade as if the top is a long way away, then you make irrational decisions and you make riskier decisions. However, Confucius, Confucius, the Chinese philosopher who has all these amazing sayings. He said, man who want to lose weight must eat less. Man who is tired must sleep more. So Confucius also says, he says, get this, he says, invest as if the top is near. That's not me. That's what Confucius says. He says, invest as if the top is near. If you keep thinking that the top is near, then basically you will make more rational decisions. You will accumulate more as opposed to spend more. And in this case, what are we accumulating? Well, we are accumulating Bitcoin. Unlike the 2017 cycle where I would have said to you guys, accumulate as much US dollars as possible, Confucius has another saying. And Confucius says that we should accumulate US dollars. You know why? Because Confucius says that Confucius says we should accumulate Bitcoin. You know why we should accumulate Bitcoin? Because Confucius also says that, Fred, what does he say? He says that the US dollar is truly fucked. That's exactly what Confucius says. He says, don't even bother accumulating US dollars because the US dollar is truly, truly, truly fucked. And so we need to accumulate Bitcoin in this altcoin supercycle. That is the name of the game. Accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Agree with me? Well, if you agree with me, then let's talk about what that actually means. Because the first thing that it means is that you've got to be in a Bitcoin accumulation mindset. Everything you do has got to be in this Bitcoin accumulation mindset. And for me, when I think about accumulating in a Bitcoin mindset, what I actually mean is following 5 very simple rules. The first rule that I follow is always think in Bitcoin. Yeah, I always think in Bitcoin. Making $1 means nothing to me. Making Bitcoin means something to me. I've started to price things in my head in Bitcoin. When I count my wealth, when I count how much money I have in my wallet, I don't care about US dollars anymore. I care about Bitcoin. The sooner you can train your brain to think in Bitcoin, the sooner you will realize how much money you actually have. Because remember what Confucius says about the US dollar. He says the US dollar is, I'm going to call that slide up again. He said it's truly fact. That's what Confucius says. It's not even me. It's Confucius who's saying the US dollar is truly, truly fact. All right. The next part of it is most of your portfolio, over 50% of your portfolio sits in the HODL portfolio. And the HODL portfolio is, remember, a one-way street. Once money goes into that HODL portfolio, money can never, ever, 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 ever come out of the HODL portfolio. It lives there. It's a one-way vault. Look at what my HODL portfolio looks like. The next 35% of your portfolio sits in 10x altcoin gems that already have the network effect. So they safe altcoin gems. Luna, Terra, Arweave, even Filecoin. These are tokens that already have all the network effect. Cool. The next part of it is 15% of your portfolio, and only 15% of your portfolio sits in the speculative alts. Only 15% of your portfolio, no more of your portfolio sits in those speculative alts. You can play around with those, win, lose, do 100x, lose 1x, makes no difference. That's what we do. And the last part of it is, the most important part is, take profits all the time. All the time we are taking profits and we are putting them into our vault. So guys, remember those 5 rules. I'm going to put the 5 rules up on the slides. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. I want you guys to remember the 5 rules, because if you remember those 5 rules, you will have a bag of Bitcoin in this altcoin cycle. I want you to think in Bitcoin. I want 50% plus of your portfolio to be in the HODL account. And that's a one-way street. No matter how much you panic, nothing leaves that account. 35% network effect gems only. 15% of your portfolio, very small, and very small bites in very speculative alts. And the last part is, we take profits all the time, and we take profits in Bitcoin. And that's where I want to bring in Sheldon, the sniper. And then after that, I've got another guest for us who's launching his own project, and you need to hear about this project because it's a new 100x gem, which is launching soon, and you guys need to hear about it. So, Sheldon, welcome back, my friend. I see you've muted yourself.
There we go. How's it going?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
Sheldon, I want to talk a little bit about trading against US dollar pairs and why that's so important. And we are running out of time, so please keep it short, sweet, to the point, but give us that wisdom.
Guys, for the first time ever, we have a choice of 3 different main currencies that we can actually trade to in this market. And everyone focuses on this USDT. Guys, what is USDT? Well, what has dollars done for us in the last few years? Ever since it's actually come out, it's actually just devalued in price. Yet today, on a drop in the market, everyone is panicking that they're losing dollars. What is dollars? It's a depreciating asset. It's not making us any money in the future. And I think the biggest thing that we are going to push on around and work together on this is to get everyone in the mindset that we need to be collecting these altcoin, well, not altcoin, we need to be collecting Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are my 2 that is massive for us. Why? Because they are actually going to grow in the future. Our dollars don't grow. They don't grow in value. Things actually get more expensive. You know that with the population growing, stuff at the shops and even everything around the world should actually be getting cheaper. That's what should be happening. But the fact that they're printing money all the time, everything's getting more expensive, inflation, all of these things. And this is obviously where the lovely crypto comes in, by actually capping the amount of coins for the first time. So I think we can dive in with that. I think let's have a quick preview of what's important with this, because yes, we've been giving all these coins and all these main altcoins that we should be getting in and all of them, but we need to start having a look at them on bigger scale with the pair to Bitcoin. Now, what that means is all that we're doing is comparing our altcoins to Bitcoin, and when it overpowers Bitcoin, when it's performs better than Bitcoin, or when it performs less. Now, if we go have a look at the 2017 and what happened at the end of 2017 when we had the massive bull run, Bitcoin first hit its peak. Then Bitcoin came down and we had the switch in the dominance. When we had the switch in that dominance, you could see what happened to all the alts. And this is the big cycle that we're talking about and why we focus on dominance every day, because that is our main thing to show us that Bitcoin's moving into the altcoins. Now, what happens when we get that significant push? Look what happened, and this is just one example with Ethereum to Bitcoin. Now, if you held Ethereum from the 10th of December, and you held it for 56 days, you would have made 440% on your Bitcoin, meaning that you would have times your Bitcoin by 4.4 times your Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin was going up, Bitcoin was still going up in value to the dollars, but you would have made...
Stop. Say that again. I'm scared the guys didn't get that. Say that again.
So if you just held Ethereum from the 10th of December for 56 days, you would have made 4.4 times more Bitcoin than what you had. So if you had 10 Bitcoin, just by holding Ethereum for 56 days, you would then be sitting on, if you had 10, you'll be sitting on 44 Bitcoin. So you would have made an extra 34 Bitcoin by just holding that coin. But the problem is, because we compare with USDT, you would have sold so many times because you're worried about the USDT. But you actually had the opportunity to 4 times your Bitcoin. Now, that's not the only one, Ran. Have a look at quickly. The biggest shocker here, firstly, is Litecoin. If we go have a look at Litecoin quickly and what that has done previously. So if I zoom that out, so there's Litecoin over there.
You're looking at
XRP. Okay, so let's go through XRP first. They all show us the same thing. Get excited. This is why we love the major alts, because you can see what they do. Now, the same thing here. Look at the time frame.
Right. Guys, look at when this happened. This happened in the last couple of weeks of the crypto bull market in 2017. Look where Sheldon is telling you this. When you see the signs happening, the same date, when you see the signs that this is happening, it will mean we are nearing the end of the bull market, and you've got to trade carefully, and we'll show you those signs. What we can also see is that we're not there yet. We haven't seen those gains yet. Yesterday was the first time we saw this with XRP, but we haven't seen the rest of the gains yet.
Rad, what happened to XRP yesterday? It nearly doubled in value. Look how small that is to what we've experienced before. We haven't even gotten going yet on anything. And look at that. From the 10th, for 31 days, you would have made 16 times your Bitcoin by just holding XRP. 16 times. If you had 10 Bitcoin, you would have 160 Bitcoin in 31 days just by holding XRP.
The importance of trading the cycle correctly. This is what we keep saying to you guys. We are going through cycles, and we need to make sure that we know what we're doing in the cycles. And now we're shifting cycle, which is why you have to watch the show every single day. Smash that bell button. Trust me, guys, if you don't, you're giving up on money. Sheldon, let's do one more, and then I've got to bring in our last guest. This show's been
okay. If we are going to do one more, then we're going to do this one, because this one is quite mind-blowing on what it's done before. It's Neo. So Neo has also done one. Just look at this accumulation, Rand. We don't understand what this is building up to be. You can see where Neo actually is. Neo is sitting at $66 now, but look at it compared to Bitcoin. And look what this coin has done before. Look at the rally. We haven't even started with these altcoins yet. In that one, same thing. We hold it for 52 days. You would have 7 times your Bitcoin by holding. But guys, just look at where we are. What are we accumulating? Why are we building USDT? Look at the opportunities that we have to really build. If we can 10 times, 20 times, 30 times our Bitcoin in the next cycle, that's what we should be focused on. So Rand, we'll catch up tomorrow. We can hit it tomorrow on the show.
You're not worried about this?
No, I'm very excited for this. Let's start building our portfolios with assets that grow.
Sheldon, you're not worried about the sea of red. When you look at the sea of red, you're not worried about this.
No, definitely not. Because I look at this. What is the currency am I worried about? Look where we are. We haven't even left the surface yet of what's about to come. So I'm not worried about it. It's not the thing that I need. So yeah, awesome, Brad.
I guess Confucius says, one day doth not a cycle break. That's exactly what we're saying. One day does not the cycle break. We're still very, very, very much in the cycle. Sheldon, thank you, my friend.
Awesome, man. Yeah, cheers, guys. See you tomorrow.
That's Confucius, and he's saying, one day doth not a cycle break. That's exactly what he's saying. And let me tell you, talking about an altcoin cycle, this altcoin cycle is driven by those 100x gems and those pre-market listings. And I have a friend, and he is not only is he the expert in these pre-market gems, but he's also launching his own project. And I think his project is going to do 100x. And today we're going to talk to the founder of Genesis Shards right here on the show. And we're going to speak to him about what he thinks about the market. Now, I know he does have to leave soon. He's got a hard stop, but we'll try and keep him here for as long as we can. Galam, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
Sorry to keep you waiting, but I mean,
No, that's okay. It's a fun show. I was like having fun listening to it and messaging my Telegram buddies to get onto this.
Yeah, they're all here, guys. They're all here. Galam, so, I mean, how much time have you got? Can we talk a little bit about the market, or do you want to get straight into Shards?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not a big trader, so I'm not gonna be any help there. I'm just like, my trading style is like get into things and ride it for a month or two, and then start liquidating. Like that's my trading style. Yeah.
Before we get into Genesis Shards, and I want to talk about Genesis Shards, I want you to tell me the 3 best projects that have recently listed for you. Because I know your fingers on the pulse, and I really want to understand, who do you think are the best projects that have come to market recently?
In terms of performance?
In terms of performance, fundamentals, fun, great projects that you want to support?
Got it. In terms of performance, obviously, ShopX, Split did amazingly. There's a whole trend on Launchpad because there's this like decentralized, like everyone's trying to do projects, and you need a Launchpad or the community to do that, right? So there's a whole thing around Launchpads right now. I think Kickpad ended up doing something amazing like 250x. So I know there's like a lot of Launchpad going, and then what's the other one that recently launched? Yeah, I guess that's kind of like the theme. Yeah,
it's all about cycles, my friend. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you're actually building, and I'm very excited about it because I know that you've been advising a lot of projects. I know that you've been most of the top projects in the game at some point or other. You've been an advisor to. I also saw your name on Polka Foundry, and by the way, guys, Polka Foundry is a token that we like. We have been working on a research report for you guys. We're going to publish the research report in the next couple of days, and we're going to get the guys on the show. So if you have been worried about Polka Foundry or wondering about Polka Foundry, that's it. Let's talk about Genesis Shards. Tell me what Genesis Shards is all about.
Yeah, so we found the gap in the market. Crypto is 24/7. Everything trades 24/7. There's no break. No one sleeps in this space. Everyone's awake, from Asia time, like from North America time. And we thought that, like there's this gap when projects are trying to launch their token, but it's in that limbo phase of like going IDO. From like the inception of the project going to IDO, there's that limbo, right? And we wanted to create something to fill that market for what we're calling pre-IDO token base. And it's because like when the tokens are not live, obviously there's like, big hypes being built up and people are, just talking about the token and, speculating it, but there's no actual assets that they can trade with, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create an NFT that can act as a basket or a vehicle that can, wrap some of these tokens around, the pre-IDO tokens. And we're building a, very, very loyal and incentivized community around it. So almost like acting as almost like a launch pad, but for these pre-IDO tokens before they go on IDO. So there's a whole new market that's being created with these tokens. And, since they're wrapped on NFT, once they go live on the actual IDO platforms, people are able to come to our platform and then trade the NFT that has the wrapped tokens in it for the actual tokens. By doing this, it almost these NFT almost acts as like a call option for these tokens. Yeah,
it's a futures contract. It's basically what you're saying is we're going to take pre-IDO tokens, wrap them up as NFTs, allow people to buy the NFTs, and then redeem the NFTs for the actual tokens at some point, which is actually like a futures contract.
And then like what it does is like it all gets the early exposure. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can do when the token is being liquid like this. Also, like you get the advantage of our community as well as various different token speculation and price discovery for those tokens, as well as being able to start really getting your tokens out to a wider community, like a launchpad style.
Amazing. And when
Yeah.
does the project launch, guys? I'm just looking at the dates here. I know that you guys announced that you guys are launching. When are you guys launching this?
We are launching, so our IDO is happening. We're gonna announce that probably within this week. Yeah, we're announcing. We already announced Polka Starter, so we're gonna be launching our IDO on Polka Starter, and it's gonna be sometime this month.
And I see that the type of investors that you got in, and in full disclosure, I'm also an investor in this. I mean, my logo is not there, but very much I am an investor in this project. You got some great investors on board. I see Moonwell on board. You pretty much got the who's who of crypto investing on your round.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this space for 4 years, and like people who know me know that I have a very, very extensive network. So yeah, for me, it was just talking to people and making sure that they understood that idea. And then once they did, like everyone wanted to jump on board from different regions.
Alrighty, my friend. I know that you have a hard stop. I don't want to keep you past it. Thank you. We will keep track of what you guys are up to. Well done on everything that you've achieved up till now. And
Thank you.
We'll retweet when you guys tell us what date you're going live. We'll retweet so maybe our community can get whitelisted. And then, guys, this might be the last IDO that you ever have to rush into because you can just buy the NFTs of the pre-listing tokens, and then
yeah, that's going to be another battle as well. But yeah.
All right, so I mean, this project's really solving some real world stuff, real world problems. Alrighty, what else? What else do we have to do? Let's just, Fred's saying to me, I can see him going across this thing and he's saying, mention the sponsors. So yes, let's mention the sponsors. We do have a sponsor. That sponsor is PrimeXBT. I don't know if you guys have seen their platform. If you guys don't have time to trade yourself, you can just follow other traders. It's quite cool. You can choose which trader you want to follow. You can see their entire performance. You can see how much money they've got invested. You can see the portfolio fees over here and a whole lot of other stuff. There's also this, and this is really the only part that I really love about it, and that's when I feel like I want to game a little bit, I can bet on the candles, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 10 minute candle. So if you want to sign up with PrimeXBT, there is a description link at the bottom of the YouTube. You do get 50% deposit bonuses, you get 25% off your trading fees, but you got to use the Crypto Banter you got to use the Crypto Banter referral link, and that's down below in the description. So yeah, those are our sponsors. We don't like having sponsors on our show, but if we think that they can bring value to you guys, then we will let them on the show. And these guys, I really do think do bring a lot of value to you guys. What else? Tomorrow, big. Tomorrow. I'm live with Elio for the full hour, and we're going to be talking about beating the altcoin supercycle. We're going to spend a little bit of time on Super Farm, but it's not going to be a Super Farm shellfest. This is me and Elio talking about what we like, and there's a lot of projects that Elio and I really, really like. And we're gonna talk to you guys about why we like them and where you should buy them, and we're gonna also debate around the altcoin supercycle because I think he's much more bullish than me because I'm adopting this approach over here. I'm saying what Confucius said. I'm saying invest as if the top were near. He's more, hey guys, we're going into this. We haven't started. We're in the beginning of the altcoin supercycle. So that should make for very, very, very interesting. If you're still here, smash the like, smash the subscribe. That does get you into the banter bags. Otherwise, I will see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. I am still on vacation, guys. Have a look at this. Let me show you something. Fred, let's get this video off the screen and let me show the guys. So I'm on a vacation with a family. Decided to still come to you because the markets were red. I'm going to try and do this without unplugging the microphone. That is where I am. That is where I'm broadcasting to you guys from. My kids have gone out with mom and granddad. And I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm going to spend some time with my kids. So I'll be back for the afternoon show. Sheldon will do the earlier show. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, my friends, if you are trading, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station.